Oops. Oops. I had stopped recording. Sorry about that. How's everybody doing? Let me know if you have any questions. I'm just playing around in here, but if you actually have a question, I'm happy to help.
I had a question.
Yeah, what's up?
So after you're done drawing and you're making like the video
Mm-hmm.
movie, how are you just taking like a picture of it
Yeah.
and then like of the two?
Can you show me like maybe some of your drawings or what you got, and then we can go from there?
We were just supposed to make two, right? Or more?
I mean, you can do two. That's the minimum. But if you do 50, that also flies, right? I just want you to get to get the concept
So
or the
I
idea.
just made like a face, like one would like I don't know if my thing is blur is on. One second.
If you put it kind of like in front of your face, it might work. Oh, there you
So I just made like one
go.
face with like the eyes closed and one with like
So
the
cute.
eyes and mouth open.
Do you mind putting them in there again,
So
and I can screenshot and show you? Oh, I think you
okay, like one at a time.
put them all together. Like show me both. Yeah, show me both. There you go. So you're just gonna need to take two pictures of it. Thank you for that. I got the picture, but I'll show you how it basically works the same way. And I'm gonna do it fancy just because I have the software in here, and then I can do it. By the way, the software is open source, it's free. Even on your worst computer, you can download it and it likely will run. Maybe not the fastest, but it'll do something, right? But let me see. What should I use for these? Let me think really quickly. Let me open Krita. Actually, I'm just gonna put it in Paint, right? So crop these. Let's get a little closer. Super cute drawings, by the way. So let me just save these. Why are you complaining, computer? Oh, because I'm using the wrong. Sorry about that. That's one. I'm gonna make a new drawing. I guess I do want to save it. Sorry, it's getting late in the day. My brain is a little bit save, and then view drawings.png. I'm just gonna throw it where everything goes to die in the desktop. We'll never find it again. I'm kidding. Drawings, and then I'm just gonna put them in here. And I need to be in object mode. Did it bring them in? Oh, why is it messing with me? Okay, I'm gonna stop playing games and I'm just gonna load it in Photoshop, which is gonna be a little bit easier. Essentially, you just need to take the two pictures of them, but they need to be in the same place, right? So you have the post-it, and when you take that picture, don't move the camera, and then you remove it and you place the other one in there at the same time. Sorry, not at the same time, after that one. Does that kind of make sense? And I'm just opening Photoshop to show you how they flip over here as well, and they can become video. I wonder, I can actually do kind of like a demo if I have another lens. Actually, let me just do it in here really quickly. So, new Photoshop. Okay, I have your super cute drawing, and then I am going to open your other drawing, and I'm just going to screenshot it, because this is essentially what you're going to be doing with that app. So you got two drawings. Obviously, in my side, I need to make sure they're kind of the same size, but you don't have to worry about that because they are the same size in real life. Okay. And check this out. If you take the two pictures, when you play it in your app, it's basically going to do that. Now, what you can control in your app is, right now I'm doing it manually, right? By just turning on and off. But you can control in your app how slow it is or how fast it is. If it, right? Does that answer your question so far?
Mhm.
Now, let me bring your character a little bit further, right? Let me stop messing around with the animation that I'm doing in here. And if you allow me, I will never do justice to your super cute drawing, but I'll try my best. To kind of push. Why is this not drawn? Sorry about that. Give me 1 second. Stay away from the pure white so that your eyes never die. But if you allow me, I'm gonna use your super cute drawings as kind of like a base, and I can show you how these two drawings can become a lot more, right? So I'm guessing you want to go from here to doing the little blink. So let's do this, okay? Let's let me change my brush in here just so that I can do the paint. Beautiful. So again, one day I'll learn to draw as beautiful as your cutie thing here, but hopefully I could get kind of the gist of it. And I'm gonna draw pretty rough because in animation, this is the one thing that kind of sold me in animation. I've never drawn in my life when I was a kid, and then out of nowhere I was like, oh, I really like video games, I really like animation, but I've never drawn in my life. Can I do these? And then I was looking at all these illustrators and all of these things, and I was like, it's just not for me. But then somebody showed me some animation, and they showed me how rough they were drawing, and they showed me how that is actually really helpful for them. I was like, I can do that. Little did I know I was pretty naive. It's pretty complicated, right? But it's kind of like the gateway to it, right? So let's try to get your super cute drawing in here. Something like that, right? Give or take. I'll try better next time. And let's do your second cutie. And I'm just gonna in this software, when I move, there's kind of like a timeline. So it's kind of, this is the frames. Remember we were talking about the frames per second. So in this software, it's frames per second. So each time I move around here, it's just another frame that I can do it. And it doesn't matter which one I do it right now, as long as I do it in a new one. And again, you can download this software for free in your house, in your place, and do whatever, same thing I'm doing. And I'm just gonna start drawing. As long as this is on, when I start drawing, it's gonna allow me to start flipping. So the really cool thing about this is I can, hopefully, if I get your drawing in here, try to start thinking about how can I'm thinking your character is gonna blink, so maybe it's gonna kind of compress a little bit, because when we blink, I'm overdoing it in here, but when we blink, we compress, right? So I'm thinking squash and stretch, and I'm thinking your character is looking into that direction, and you will see that I mess it up. And this is why I love animation, because it's about just feel it, right? Like feel it, and you're kind of digging for the pose, and it's okay if all of this is messy, because later you can do another layer and clean it up, right? But that's not the important part. The important part is the blink and really getting the character, right? The feelings of your character in there. And we get that. If we can get that, we're going further, right? And then I'm going to do that. And you did 2 drawings, but I can't let this just go with 2 drawing away with 2 drawings. So what if we close the little blink, but we keep these for now, right? To start offsetting and start giving it a little bit more life. We can still kind of maybe open them out just a little bit more, and we do gradual increments, little by little. The hair stays on the same thing. Again, keep it loose, keep it rough, because we can always change things. So we got that. And then maybe if we keep going, right, we can really close that mouth, but close it even higher than where you got it, right? Right now, your character is a little bit symmetric, where we kind of, I don't know, for humans, we kind of like to do things kind of like in the middle of the middle of the middle. It's just our human brains are connected that way a little bit. But if we kind of like push that to a symmetry, let's maybe push that either all the way down. I think that's kind of where your character is at. Is like maybe that, or perhaps we can do the opposite. And I feel like it's kind of just moving further up for some reason. I feel like not too sad, not too happy, kind of like content. I don't know, like if you've ever been like, life is good. That's kind of the feeling that I'm getting with yours. Maybe it was completely different, but
No.
and of course I'm flipping in software, but it's the same as if you were flipping in a paper, right? I'm just doing it in here just to kind of go faster and show you how it would go. I haven't pressed the play button, by the way, the whole time, because I'm using the persistence of vision trick that I showed you, which is what the whole class is about, right? So right now I have 3 drawings, right? And you could potentially say, okay, those 3 drawings, let's time them through space. By the way, your app, you can play with that. You can hold and tab. Let me just go back to the app. Actually, I don't have it in here, but on the app, you can see like kind of like the frames that you create once you take the pictures. You can hold and tab on each one of the pictures, and you can say pause. That's basically how you can hold the frames. The same thing that I'm going to be doing in here. I'm going to be moving them around. And feel free to send me an email if you get stuck with these later, even after the workshop. Happy to kind of help you push that. But I'm going to say, I want my audience to kind of read a lot this action because that's the main character. And then I'm going to keep going until maybe 19. And around 19, I'm going to kind of hold a little bit for that little blink. And I'm going to really quickly, I want it to go fast, right? So from slow to fast when it's very little time. And then I want the audience to kind of hold in there. I'm just going to press play. See how that feels. Look at that. Just with 3 drawings, we got something, right? Now, where it gets really addictive and very fun, in my opinion, is we can keep going, right? Now that we decided these basics, right? We can say, okay, this is my main story. So this is number 1. This is at number 19. This is at 26, but I'm going to put it at 27 just because, trust me, I've been doing this for a while. And if you were in class, I would explain you the reasons, but we can kind of skip that, the hard part, and just have the fun. And I'm going to, before we start blinking, what if somewhere in the middle, we do a little bit of anticipation before we anticipate, right? So, and I'm digging again. And you, like, if you see these for the first times, it kind of feels that I'm doing some kind of wizardry or some magic, right? That like, how the hell does Diego decide where to place the lines? I'm just feeling, where would my character want to go before they start blinking? And that's kind of the whole thing, right? So going flip, flip, flip. And the more you do it, the more it kind of gets intuitive, I would say. At the beginning, it's gonna be like, what am I doing? But do not give up. It's so much fun, I promise. And then maybe since over here, you can see that the little head, not the head, the mouth over here was kind of open. And then when we compress, we kind of expand it that way. Why don't we do the opposite? Why don't we expand it a little bit the opposite way before we go down? So let's get a little bit more excited just before we go down, right? And little by little, those 2 drawings are becoming a little bit more. Let's check that out. And then I can start going. I'm going to do something called an arc really quickly. And again, all of these we we talk in depth in the actual enter classes, but right now it's just kind of a little teaser, right, with your cute character. How does your character look that way? And again, I know I'm not doing it justice. They're much cuter than whatever I will ever be able to draw, but you know, we're on the clock. We gotta get this friend kind of working. I'm gonna cheat a little bit just because I have the computer in here, and I'm gonna move these drawing just a little bit here. Good. I'm gonna push it perhaps back and then rotate it a bit. You would have just used an eraser perhaps, just because I think that's gonna make my life a little bit easier. Oh yeah, now we're talking. Sorry about that. And I'm just filling in the blanks. And I'm little by little doing in-betweens. And you can do that with your flipbooks, right? You can keep flipping, just organize with numbers. And then at the end, you take the pictures of that. Does that kind of make sense, Preet? So now you've given me these and I cannot stop until I keep going. But feel free to ignore me and keep going as well. Because I'm addicted to these. It's just what I live for. Enrique's like, oh my gosh, I'm getting advanced class for free just because I was somehow paying attention on Teams. By the way, we're all on Teams. I don't know if on your other faculties they are using Teams or just Moodle or Noodle or whatever that thing is. But if you ever have any questions, you can check this out. Okay. You not check this out. You can always reach out to us on Teams because I'm guessing all of you have a at KPU account, right? At kpu.ca. Yeah. So you can just Google my name, not Google, but search my name on the Teams tab and just be like, hey Diego, I did this. Can I show you? I'm not paying attention in what's your class? Business. Let's do some business with animation. There we go. We can hold in there and then we go up. And then when we go up, I actually kind of want to hold it even more before we go down. So let's go there. I'm going to do another drawing where we just kind of stay almost in there, but just enjoy before we go down. And then perhaps we go a little bit more to, I want to do kind of like an arc where it goes that way with the head. I'm destroying how the face actually feels, but whatever. You know, we're having fun today. It's 7 p.m., right? We shouldn't be too intense on ourselves today. It's just a chill day. Hopefully you don't have too many homework on your other classes. And if you do, you can tell them, oh, I was having the best time just doing some animation. We really get in there like really happy. And feel free to do the faces, right? Like feel how that expression is gonna be like, go to the side and really like if you go into an animation studio and you see all the people doing their shots, it's just a bunch of weirdos kind of like doing super weird faces. Like if the character is like, I don't know, depends on the action, right? Like depends on the scene, but if your character is like super sad, you go around and some animators are just like doing kind of super weird faces all the time. now that our character holds in there for longer, I'm actually gonna play with timing a little bit more. I really want my character to hold, like, get there, perhaps even faster, so that hold really takes some good punch. So loop, stay there, and then we release. And then between that release, I think we need to have kind of like a little bit of a faster precision. And let's actually squash even more, but with an arc coming back. I want to do an arc going that way. And again, maybe I'm already starting, like, I can't avoid it, but I'm starting to use a little bit more language that perhaps we didn't talk about in here, but that's all good and fine, right? Like, the important part is think about your character as a living and breathing creature, whether it's a human or non-human character. They have feelings, right? They're thinking about life. Hopefully you can keep consistent who they are. That's the main part in animation. What matters, and that's why audiences come back to see, I don't know, Winnie the Pooh or whatever you might be into. And feel free to stop me if any of you already has something to show me, because I will go forever. I'm almost there, I promise. I have maybe a couple more drawings. That I always say that, but I can keep going forever and ever here. Do that mouth right away. Maybe almost about to close. We'll go a little bit higher. And let me squash these a little bit further out before they get there. I almost kind of want to push this a little bit. Again, I'm cheating. I know I don't have post-its like you, but the idea of resistance division is the same, right? And it's funny because our students go for like terms and terms of training in the ENTA program and so on, but by the time they reach their last terms, we're talking about the same thing. We go back to this class and we're like, hey, do you remember persistence of vision? Have you gotten that right? And it's a never-ending thing because it's just a little trick that we like to repeat over and over and over. Obviously, there's drawing, and if you're not into drawing, there's the puppet making, puppets. Thought about that. There's the storytelling side, there's the lighting, there's all of that. Kind of talks to each other. Ooh, look at that. We're getting there. I think one or two more drawings, and I think we can do some funsies. Yeah, two more drawings, I think. And this is gonna really get somewhere. I think we can close the mouth now. Yeah, that's nice. Now it's very little amount of movement because we just want to settle in that character-driven pose. A little bit of out of volumes, but again, we're just having fun tonight. And then one last drawing, I promise. Because I could go all night, but I'll stop after this one, I promise. I just want to settle. Because our character needs to settle, right? Every action has a reaction. And we need to just kind of have a little bit of solidity in that settle. A little bit of compression. And I'm just gonna play with the timing, and I will try to play it, and let's see if this works out to somewhere that we were expecting, hopefully. So I'm gonna go from here. It's gonna happen relatively fast. Then we're gonna go into there. It's gonna take some time. Okay, let's try this out. I might need to do some edits, but let's see where we're ended up. Look at that. I think it's not bad for the time that we spent. So hopefully this gives you an idea, Preet. Like, obviously, it's only a workshop. We only have so much time, but the idea is you start with two drawings or two poses, but you can always add more in between. And then the fun is on playing it, right? Again, the software side, it's whatever, right? You've understood your phone probably before you jumped into this class. Take the time to just play with it. Send me a message if you get stuck, of course. But the important part is think about that character. Who's that character? Are they having a good time today? Did they just come off school and they're tired, they're hungry, and they can't care about you? Like, they're gonna display their face and their reaction completely different, right? So animation, it's all about telling a story, in my opinion, right? So we were just gonna wrap up to our beginning question. I don't think I can ever describe it 100%, but in my opinion is telling a story with a language that tends to be very accessible as long as you're visual driven, like as long as you have possibility to see things. And I'm just very biased and very addicted to it, and I hope this little workshop has sparkled something within some of you. And please let me know if you have any questions. Reach out. Reiki, don't be a stranger. I'll see you next week. Anybody wants to show me what you got before we call it a day? Yeah, okay. Maybe get rid of that blur. Great. Do you have any questions with what I was kind of explaining?
No questions. You explained that. It makes sense. Explain
Awesome.
that well.
Oh, look at that bear. That's fantastic. Thanks for sharing with us. Can you export it and send it on Teams? I want to totally see it. Did everybody get to see Ricky's bear in there? Super cute. I see Lisi's like frantically trying to get the last edits in before. And by the way, no worries, right? If you want to keep playing with it and send me more later, I will forever see all the little cute drawings that all of you do. But now this is just me animating in here, right? But I can, before I wrap up, I can maybe find a couple of examples of people that are doing better. Let me see. Animation. Let me find some of my old students. See if I can show you some fun times. Oh, let me show you Michelle Siddiquis. This is a former student of us, alumni now. Michelle Siddiqui. So one of my classes that we do animation, this is Michelle's final project. So obviously we went through more specifics, right? But This is kind of like the roughs, and it's the same idea, right? We're using persistence of vision. We're flipping, doing it traditionally, but still within the computer. And I don't know. I think the work speaks for itself. They were able to implement lots of life in their character, and I just find it adorable that they're kind of doing a pancake or a dosa or something like that. Cool. Lizzie, you want to show us what you got? Don't worry if it's not done. I just want to see where you're at, and then maybe you can send it to me later, just so we can wrap up and let everybody maybe go to bed or finish their homeworks instead of having to be here. Any other questions before we wrap up? Ricky, does this make sense? Has this kind of given you a peek of what we might be doing next term? Does it make sense why we were talking about camera that way? Now, like the three images, I'm basically making you all animate without knowing, right? But anyways, I'll hang out here just until Lizzie shows me, but otherwise, don't feel like you have to stick around, or you can if you want to check this out. Did you get it in there, Lizzie? No, that's okay. Send us a message. I still would love to see it. Find me on Teams. I'm Diego de la Rocha, and I'm around. Tell me how your business classes keep going. Keep me updated. Have a lovely evening, everybody. It's been a pleasure to see you. Take care.
Bye, Diego.
Bye-bye.